Yeah, welcome to this session. So I've been just given the what exactly we discussed last time, and now we're going to move ahead with the concept, which is important to understand the other concepts. So that as like your C programming, even in your this programming means in ABAP programming also there the various loops are available, then flow controls are available. Okay, we are going to see them, no issue. But once again, I'm repeating, ABAP program is well, if you see that it's like your other programming structures. Okay, so just in ABAP, what happened whenever we close any statement, what we do, we give the dot or period over there. To comment, there are two ways available in your ABAP that we know that here at the start, if I'm starting from the first character of that line, if I want to comment entire line from the beginning, I give the star. And if I want to give the in between comment, okay, or maybe the partially comment on any line, okay, suppose first there is a statement, right, and after that dot I want to give any comment, then after that I can give the double quote, okay, double quote at the start, and I can comment it. Then we discussed on how to declare the variable, how to use data statement over there. Okay, see, recall the previous things because you have to connect yourself with the previous dots. Okay, so then only you will understand the next point. And now here I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, yeah. Let us see then today the SAP ABAP dictionary concepts. Okay, see this SAP ABAP dictionary, or we can say it is a data dictionary. So we have to understand the meaning of what exactly this SAP ABAP data dictionary. Okay, so if you see that your data dictionary is at the top of your all the elements of your ABAP. Okay, when I'm saying it is at the top of your all the elements, okay, then it plays a role of what? Just an interface, or I can say it is an entry point. But when I'm saying it is an entry point, then how it moves ahead or what contents are available in the dictionary. See, the meaning is very simple. If I'm taking our general dictionary, okay, which we use to find out particular words meaning. Okay, early days we used to have the dictionaries, big dictionaries, big wide and of big size dictionaries. And what we use then, we used to find out the meaning of particular English word. So when we are searching, see, actually what we do, actually when we get any word, then we were searching with the help of index or maybe the bibliography. Then we used to find out what is the spell of that particular word. Suppose it is an engineering, so we used to find out en series. Okay, then in en we used to find out what is the next character. Is it a character, is it b character, c or d, or it is g character. Then again we used to find out that eng. Then inside the eng again there were various words, and then we were able to get our exact word as an engineering. Okay, then there was a meaning for that. So when I'm talking about the dictionary, okay, when I'm talking about a dictionary, so what it is data about data. Understand what it gives me? Data about data. Means suppose I want to get a meaning of the word, then about that particular word, what are the different meanings, those are given by me, that dictionary. So what I can say, it is simply, it gives me more data about my that particular required data. See, it is just like if I'll ask you right now the question, can you give me the address of your home? Okay, when I'm saying an address of your home, then in that address, one word itself, there is a lot of data is available. So usually when we write an address, what we do, we are actually mentioning a lot of small things in an address, just like we mention our maybe house number or flat number, then apartment name or building, then we mention the name of the road, name of the mohalla or gully. Okay, we mention the name of our street, then we mention the name of area, and then we mention, in India we usually mention that particular name of the city or village or town. Then we mention the tahsil, means taluka, then district, and then lastly what we write, pin. So when I ask you only the address, you have given me these many data about your own. Okay, it means it is what? Data about data. Means exploring more about that asked or in pro required data. Hope you are connecting with me. Are you able to listen me properly? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now see, once we understand the meaning of now the data, this dictionary word, okay, let us start with this our technical part, that is SAP ABAP dictionary concepts. See, in this one, let us understand what do you mean by the data dictionary. I think now everyone got a meaning of that dictionary. See, what is data dictionary? see, a data dictionary in your ABAP can be seen as an independent surface for a database. It is what? An independent surface which is available at the top of your database. But what is this dictionary point? See, through this dictionary, if you enter into database, now you will be able to get each and every element. It is just like when I start to search, suppose on one of the finder you say that, sir, please come and visit my home. Then what I'll ask, preferably I'll ask your address. Then you will give me the address. Once I'll get your address, and suppose I'm in your area. See, then based on your address, each and every field, I will try to search your home or house. Okay. Then first, if it is mentioned, okay, it is mentioned like that, okay, the area is, suppose, just take an example, we are in Kopargaon. Then suppose I'm saying area is, suppose, like a Sai City. Okay, then you will find where is the Sai City in the Kopargaon. Okay, once you find it, but how you'll get it? Sai City information will get on based on the road. Okay, it is on the Evla road, Evla Kopargaon road. Then you will come to the Evla Kopargaon road. Then on that you will try to get an area information. Once you got an area information, you will try to find out where is the building. Okay, I'll try to get your building. Suppose I'm saying it is Sai City building. Then I'll come to your Sai City building, and inside that, then I will go for what? Your particular flat number or house number. Then I will reach to you. See, understand how, where I have been started. I started your complete address. Please remember, everyone. I started at the complete address. Then I devised that address as per the requirement. Means first what I found, I may found that road or area. Then that area is again devised into what? The number of maybe ways, or I can say number of buildings. Then I found Sai City building. There may be a number of buildings like Sai City building. Okay. Then for that Sai City building, what I did, among all the flats or houses over there, I just found out the okay, maybe you are that landmark. Based on the landmark, I found your building or your house or your flat, and then I came there. Now what will be the landmark, or I can say the floor in the building, maybe the chance for me to come up to your house. Okay, so it means your that address, okay, has given me what? See, it is the meaning given in the second line. In other words, a data dictionary can also be defined as a virtual directory containing data about data. So your address was containing all this information. So it becomes me what? A virtual directory, which were containing all these small details about your address. So in our ABAP, this data dictionary is treated as in the similar fashion. What it do? It consists of the tools that lets you perform various tasks, such as what? Data manipulation, data processing. See, when I was searching your house, what exactly I was doing? I was manipulating the data. I was interpreting it. Where exactly this location, where exactly this building, where exactly this house, where exactly this floor, where exactly this building. So I was doing its manipulation. See, updating somewhere. I may be moving into the other ways or wrong direction. I may again correcting myself. Okay, like this. I was doing entire data processing. Okay, so this way, in ABAP, when we deal with the data, okay, definitely in ABAP, see, we know that your SAP, whatever right now we are discussing related to the ABAP supports your SAP R3 architecture. Once again, I am reminding all of you, what is this SAP R3 architecture? It consists of your how many layers? 3 layers. The first layer, see, I'm starting from the top, presentation layer, where usually the SAP end users are using that your applications interface to do some task. Then you are there at the second layer, means middle layer is what? Your application server layer, where ABAP programmers like you are working there. They are building the various SAP applications. But when they are building the SAP application, are they just implementing your front ends? No, they are implementing, or are they just implementing the user interface? No, they also integrate or interconnect your that front end with your back end there. And what is in a back end? See, at the last layer, or I can say the third layer of your that SAP R3 architecture is your database server. So in that layer, they are connecting your what? Front end with that back end. Okay, it's like a point, it's like a chain. So who are the intermediate at the chain? You are, as an ABAP programmer, you are creating an application. Your created application actually connects front end with this back end. So to do that job, you need this data dictionary. So data dictionary in ABAP is also known as DDIC, or in simple words, it is known as your ABAP dictionary. Hope you got the meaning of this ABAP dictionary now. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See now you will get immediately this scene, whatever I have been shown now on a screen here. See, it's very easy. Now, when I'm observing now the data dictionary, okay, all of you please observe. You are at this type definition, means you are at the top layer. Okay, then inside the type definition of your data, what is available there? Structure. Now, do you know that the structure is what I have been said earlier also? Usually, the structure is a concept used in many programming language. It is used in your C programming also. So what we do in a C programming, structure is used to group the various data types together. Now, how you may say, sir, how it groups the various data types together? Let us take an example. Okay, your address itself, we are discussing address gives me what? Data about data. So how it gives me the data about data? Take an example in an address. Okay, when I'm saying flat number, suppose 304. Okay, Sai Prakash building, Sai city of Evla road. Okay, Kopargaon, just as an example. Okay, just as an example. It's a it's a kind request. Please mute. Who is there, please? Yeah, thank you very much. See that it means when I was talking about a particular address of anyone's house, okay, it comes with the various data types. See that when I'm saying flat number may be an integer value. Then when I'm saying that Eola road, it may be a string value. When I'm saying C wing, so C is my now maybe the single character. I may say it is a character data. So when I'm writing an address, actually I'm grouping all this data together under the heading of what, or under the label of that address, right? So it's a point. So your structure is used to group the different data together. But when I'm grouping the different data together, then that structure may have the different data elements. Now data elements may be your different data types, we can say. Okay, and then along with that, it may contain the different table types also. Okay, so data may be stored somewhere in the address. There may be address of another location. Okay, when I was talking about, yes, the address is what, just my house address, but inside my house address there may be the identification of Sai city area. There may be identification of that particular building. So it's a point that we have to understand. So your type definition may have the individual structure where the lot of data is grouped together in the different tables, individual table, but there may be the pointers from one table to another table also, that may be interlinking. Okay, so the type definition consisting of the various structure, and what that structure consists? Structure consists of the data elements along with the different table types. But when I'm saying all these things in my type definitions of ABAP data dictionary, then we have to understand the different database objects. They are known as DB object. So usually who are the objects? Now point come here to understand now another definition or another concept, that is object. So do you know that object generally define a particular class? What are they? They are used to define a particular class. So take an example. Suppose you all are the students of now this SAP ABAP batch. Okay, so when I'll ask you the question, okay, you have okay, you are registered to which module? You will say that, sir, SAP ABAP. So when you will say SAP ABAP, actually you are going to represent your entire class. But when I will say, okay, Mr. XYZ is registered to SAP ABAP class, or I'll say like this, Mr. XYZ is ABAPer. So when I'll say Mr. XYZ, see, understand everyone, Mr. XYZ becomes an object of that class. Which class? ABAPer class, or he or she becomes an object of that particular SAP ABAP course. Okay, now take a another way. Suppose I'll say trees. Okay, one example, trees. So when I'll say trees now, then it becomes a common class, in that you can include any kind of tree. But when I'll say mango tree, then mango becomes an object of, or mango tree type is an object of which class? Tree class. Okay, so in our database also there may be different classes, or I can say different objects are available. And then who are the object in your ABAP data dictionary? Usually individual table. I may have that suppose in that case, take an example of the college, okay, an engineering college. One table may be created for the student information, one table may be available there for staff information, one table is available maybe for examination detail, one table may be available for your placement details. So what are these different tables? One table I may say entitled as student table, one is staff table, another is your employee table, or I can say your exam table, like this. So each table in your this ABAP data dictionary known as the object. So who are the object in your data dictionary of ABAP? Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, in that, then each table becomes your database object. And what each table contains? See, when I'm now coming at the lower level, see, it is just like you started from your ABAP data dictionary at the top level. Inside that, what you found? Your database object. But what exactly database object? A table. Now, when I'm going for individual table, take an example of the student table. When I'll say student table, then for that student table, I may have different what I'll just exit this full screen for a minute. And yeah, I'll use here a particular, okay, for your understanding. I'm just using this notepad for a minute. Okay, yes, see that when I'm saying student table, then this table may contain different details. Okay, inside that maybe roll number of the student, maybe the name of the student, mobile number of the student, maybe email ID of the student. Okay, like this. See, understand. So this way I'm going to use different fields in my table. So when I'm going to say student table, roll number, name, mobile number, and email, see that if the information is filled for the roll number, see that how the table will look like into that one. See, first you will be able to get only column name. Okay, right, like this. Mobile number will be the second column, then your last column is sorry, it is email. Okay, then when the information is filled, suppose first student means roll number 1, name is ABC, then mobile number is 12345 6, understand, just then email ID may be a at the rate sorry gmail.com, like this. Okay, so when I'm going to store the data in this way in any table, see this individual roll number or maybe name or your mobile number or email, they are what? They are representing the individual column. Okay, they are the columns. But when I'm writing the data in this way, 1 comma ABC comma 12345 6, then a at the rate gmail.com, this complete highlighted area represents your row, means column and row are the lowest level representation in your ABAP data dictionary. Okay, the meaning is here. See, the meaning is given here. I hope now you got this point. Okay, and then when these tables are created, see, in a background data is stored in the tabular form, but at the front end the data comes in which format? It may be in a GUI format. So if you see here from the screen, here suppose I'm filling, the first field is name, second is suppose my mobile number. Whenever I fill this data now inside the or in a backend in the database, data is get stored in the tabular form. Okay, so from the front end user will not be able to see, but in the back end data will come in the tabular form. Okay, so for this case, okay, I just want to show you something. Are you able to see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, for this purpose, if you want to see that how to prepare or how to go for SQL, okay, then there is one interactive tool is available on Drive, that is W3 Schools SQL. Okay, so if you open this now, here you will find the try it yourself kind of thing. Okay, what is it? W3 School. Okay, SQL. See that here directly some default tables are given, like select, here the query is given, select star from customer, then order by customer name ascending. They have been done ascending order. If I run this, okay, I'll be able to get my customer names here. See, this is a table, various tables they have been created in database. These may be very small, but you may find it later on. See, in this way, in ascending order, all the customer information is available for you now. Okay, so what it is, it indicates that okay, data is stored in a tabular form ultimately. Okay, now even the simplest example, let us take one more example which is most simple, and you may feel, "Yes, sir, we know about this." Okay, that is simply, suppose I want to collect some information from the student. What we do? We generate a Google form. Okay, suppose I want to get the information from all of you now, customer feedback. Okay, just for a minute, I want to prepare a customer feedback. So what we do? See, this is, all of you remember, I'm explaining you one of the way how the application is implemented, front end and back end. Suppose this is the customer feedback. Okay, I am using this, all these things, okay, as it is, I'm not changing. Okay, suppose this way the customer feedback is created, and I want to take now the customer feedback from the any particular customer. Then what I will do, I'll just run for a minute, okay, the preview for all of you. Okay, I'll just run the preview. See, when I'm showing you the preview now, actually I'm showing you the front end of that application. And then suppose for you, I'm just going to fill up it feedback. Okay, I'm saying that great. Okay, I'm filling this particular. See, usually users are interacting like this. Means when you are saying SAP end user or SAP GUI, that may be like this only for any application, business application. Okay, suggestion for improvement, I'll say keep it up. Okay, just a minute. And then name, my name is, I'm putting, suppose here ABC. Okay, I'm not going to put other details. Okay, ABC. Email address, suppose my email address, I'm saying a at the rate, okay, sorry, a at the rate gmail.com. So this form which I have been filled right now, and once I click the submit button, then it becomes what? A front end data filling. So I have been filled my data. Understand this? It means I have done the same job which is shown here. See that I have done the same job like this screen. Okay, I have been filled that data. When I click the submit button, some function is executed for me. Now see the possible values in our this customer feedback form. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just go back, and in that, now this is my actual, I am the owner of this feedback form, so I'm able to see now my responses. See that these are the possible values. Okay, now I'm getting these possible values in some graphical format, but I don't want that graphical format. I want in the tabular form. Then just create a spreadsheet. I'll get a new spreadsheet here, and I will say create. So when I'll get a spreadsheet, okay, here, see that you got it at the top. Okay, I'll just make my screen bigger one. You'll be able to see immediately. See that you'll be able to see at the top timestamp. Now this may not be required, but it is available by default. Feedback type, feedback, suggestion for improvement, name and email. See these, now these are your what are they? Will you tell me what are these different values? Are they your column name, or they are your simply anything? Are they columns? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Column.
Yeah, they are column, and the values which are filled here as a part of this row, which have been filled from my front end, they become my values, row values. I'm putting in a red color. Okay, so they are my row values. So I'm getting these possible values. So from where I have been collected it? I collected it from that feedback form. Okay, which were created by this Google format. Okay, I created these questions initially, and then I got that feedback. And in a backend, I got in a tabular form. This Excel itself a complete a table, okay, of various, and the rows and columns we can decide. So this is the meaning behind that ABAP data dictionary. See, this is just a meaning behind these services. We provide front end as well as back end details over there. Then when I'm talking the ABAP data dictionary functionalities, okay, you may be able to see it goes with these many ways. Okay, what I'll do, I'll make it a full screen so everyone will be able to see your functionalities. Okay, so yeah, yes. So here you'll be able to see this ABAP data dictionary functionalities. First is what? Administration, that can be possible. Then activation, integration and analysis. See, we can do all these things for your any database, for any application where we need an administration. So what exactly the administration is here? Administration means we are going to develop the various, even your tables, we are going to even update them, modify them. Okay, then in that case, again, the activation means whenever you want to use any particular data, what you need to activate it. Until and unless you are not activating or connecting with your specific application, your that data will not be used. Imagine Suppose you want to do something with the student application, so it may be that data is stored into the student table, but at that time suppose you are activating the faculty table, will it work? Definitely no. Okay, so right now just take an example. I am on this screen and here various tabs are open. Okay, here the various tabs are open. Right now I'm playing my these ppts from this SAP data dictionary tab. Okay, then only that particular tab is activated. See that I'm not right now making the tab activated for this tutorial which is given by that Java T point, or I'm not making it from tutorials point of view. Okay, point. So imagine similarly when you are using the data need to be activated. So when I'm saying administration, it comes with your records and storage. Activation comes with your ABAP dictionary objects, their timestamp, validation, and entries in database catalog. So when I'm updating the student database, it must update my student database only, not any other database. Okay. Then integration. See, it is very important when you are integrating the data, your ABAP dictionary or its repository information system or documentation to be properly integrated or connected with each other. So I cannot connect my front end. Suppose it is for the student information, it should be connected in a backend with my student database table, not with the faculty database table. Then only I'll get the correct information. Okay. Then at the same time, when we are talking about the integration, we need to analyze it also. So analysis generally what purpose we do? Exactly what are the different objects are used in this particular application, how are they connected or interconnected with each other, that we can identify and that we can give to our even that for we can identify, we can modify, as well as we can restrict somewhere, we can apply the constraints on it also. So it's very important that your ABAP data dictionary functionalities provide us these many various operations, and because of that one can handle that database properly. So it's very important. See, with the help of ABAP programming, what can you do? You can create the front end, you can write the program for that, but when it comes for the back end, definitely you need to interact with your ABAP data dictionary. You should know which particular object, which particular table. See, remember, object means what? A particular thing or an entity in this world. See, I am as a teacher. Take an example. I am as a teacher. I am an entity of what? Teacher class. You as a student, you are an entity of which class? Student class. So general things are different and specific. So objects are specific. Okay, and general thing are what? They are belonging to whom? That class is a general. Okay, so this is the point related to your this ABAP dictionary functionalities. Let us see what are the different objects are available. Are there only tables in your ABAP data dictionary? No. Along with the table, there are the domains, views, type groups, lock objects, search help, and data types. See, out of this, we have been discussed earlier on the data types. Okay, the others will come later on in our discussion, but these are the different ABAP data dictionary objects. Okay, domains are there, tables are provided, views, then type groups, lock objects, search help, and data types there. Okay, see, then when I'm talking about the table types in your SAP ABAP, there are the three different types of the tables. One is known as a transparent table, another is your cluster table, and pool table. Okay, currently just remember there are three tables in your SAP ABAP: transparent, cluster, pool. I'm going to give the details of them. Okay, and then this part actually we discussed, that is elementary ABAP dictionary data types. So what are the different data types supported by your ABAP? Those are here. Okay, we studied about C. C is used to represent your which data type? Your text or character data type. N is used to represent your numeric text or text information. Okay, D is used for what? Date, that is in the format always. See, remember, by default it comes in the format of DD, MM, YYY. Okay, so if you count those many characters which are supported by your date data type, they are 8 characters. How many? 8 characters. And when I'm talking about time, time comes with hours, minutes, and second, and it shows by the data type as a T. Then X is used to represent your hexadecimal or your byte values. So when I'm talking about the byte values, actually it is represented in the form of hexadecimal. So it's very important for the ABAPers to understand which values are known as a hexadecimal. Okay, when I'm talking about the hexadecimal, I think everyone knows here hexadecimal data type or hexadecimal data is in the form of what? Your 0 to 9 and A to F. These many characters, we can say The total numbers or
Binary.
no, hexadecimal cannot be a binary. Hexadecimal is hexadecimal. It is in the from 0 to 9 are the decimal values plus hex additional 6 values. Those are A to F. But how A is represented in decimal? 11, B 12, C 13, D 14 in this way. Okay. And when I am writing any hexadecimal number, I may write like this: 1A, then H. H is used to represent it. Or one can write now here X is given. So these are the like FF. ABCDE1 or ABCDE2. So get an idea what is that hexadecimal. Then integer is represented with the help of I, packed number with the help of P, and your floating point with the help of F. So these are the your ABAP data dictionary data type, and they are applicable. See, when I'm saying this dictionary data type, now you understand when you are going to store the data in any table, you have to take the help of these data types. When you want to store, suppose, student information, but how you will store that student information, then for that purpose you need to know this particular data type. Okay, for this one, okay, just for your understanding, I would like to take one more example here of that W3 school itself of SQL, and in that I would like to show you how this data dictionary object is going to help you. Okay, let us see the SQL syntax for a minute. Here a lot of examples are available, database table and everything is there. Okay, we will not spend our more time on it because our topic is different, but just as a part of discussion, let us see. Suppose a database table is given, SQL statement, select star. Okay, I don't want to go for that. Okay, I want to show you the create table. What is it? It is used to create a new table. Okay, when I'm saying it is a create table, what is its syntax? Okay, let us see. See, it starts with this SQL select statement. I'll just change it for a minute. See, those who don't know now, those who want to practice, please use this portal. It is really good for your help. Okay, yeah, I'll not go for insert into, because insert into is used to enter the data in that. Okay, a lot of things are there. Okay, we'll go for create table. Okay, I want to show you the exact one. Okay, here you can find it, but I'll take the separate create table because I want to show you something in SQL. Okay, let us see its syntax on this W3. Yes, got it. See that all of you observe here now. Create table. Okay, I'll copy this complete. See, it is just like in ABAP, every statement is ended with what? Your dot or period. But in SQL, see that it is written like this: create table, then table name, and inside the parenthesis bracket, you write your first column name. Suppose my first column name is your roll number, so I'll write roll number. Then I have to mention the data type. See, it is very important. You have to mention the data type, and inside the bracket, you may mention the size. Okay, roll number will be of how many digits? I may say 3 digits max. So I will write inside the bracket 3 or varchar 3. Okay, like this. Then here I may write number inside the bracket 3 like this. Okay, then column 2. Column 2 is what? Name. So in your SQL, the data type for name is what? Character, but we never write char. We write VAR, that is variable character. Okay, then column 3 is my mobile number. I may write number, okay, as a data type. So it is very important, these data types you must know. So when we are writing it or using this way, okay, then here I can show you the example for this creation of the table. They have been used like this. See, person ID as int only, then last name, first name as a names, varchar they have been written, address as a varchar, city as a varchar, in this way. And if I click on try it yourself, then we are getting the way to execute it. Okay, if I'll run this query now here, then it is said that you made the changes. Okay, I'm executing this. Okay, it is already exists. See that this table is already exists, so it is not executing. What I'll do, I'll say here student. Okay, just let us just change the name of the table. See that again. See, when you created the student table now, you may be able to see here. See, at the end of this, there is one table is created of the name student. Okay, inside this database, and but right now there is no any value, only table is created. So it is just showing 0. Okay, and if what I will do, instead of this statement, now I will execute the statement. Suppose select star for all. Okay, from which table? Student. I want to see what is data there. Okay, then semicolon, end is semicolon. Then it is saying that no result, means there is no any data available right now in that table. So when I'm talking about this, your ABAP data dictionary, you must know these data types. So how to use them, you will get an idea. Okay, then along with that, in ABP data dictionary, there are the various data elements. So what are they? What is the data element? Elements used to provide descriptions of the table fields. So understand description of the table field. Okay, it's very easy to understand this particular point. Description of the table field. Okay, in your SQL, there is one query is available that is known as describe table. What it is? Describe. So when you will use describe table, now you will be able to get table information. Okay, now imagine, okay, I'll go once again on a Google. Yeah, I will say here DESR. See, describe table in SQL. Okay, I want to show you describe table in SQL. So what is this describe statement? See, it may be DESC you are going to write, or sometime describe command directly. Okay, see that I'll just say here, suppose DESC and student. See that it is accepting my query. Hope you may be able to see. Okay, my dear students. Yeah. Okay, now you may be able to see it properly. This is describe table student, and I'm just giving end of that, and I'm running this. Okay, yeah, there is an error. Describe student. I maybe made some error. Okay, describe. Okay, here it is using only DSC. Okay, yeah. See that when we are using this describe, okay, here you have to understand key what is the syntax. Okay, I'm just making some mistakes over here. Okay, let us see. Yeah, see, it is directly DSC and your table name. Okay, I have given that. Okay, let us see. Okay, still it may not be supporting here. W3C may have its own format, its own. So here it is given. See that describe table. When you write like this DSC, then your table name and semicolon. I think we forgot that. Oh, and I have to do one thing. DESC. It is case sensitive, so it may take that point. Okay, yeah. See here. So what I want to show you here, with the help of this data element, you will be able to describe the table. What is inside that table? Okay, so that is defined by the data element, and there are some predefined data elements like LIFNR, then QUNNR, then MATNNR, then CLNT. Okay, I want to show you the meaning of this one, that is LIFNR. Okay, see, purposefully I'm going online because I would like to show you one way. Okay, see, when you are preparing for your own also, now you please take the help of this way and try to make your details properly, try to elaborate them immediately, so that you will be able to get an idea, yes, what is going on here. LIFNR. Okay, see, field in SAP, just put it and you will get immediately. It is what a standard field within SAP table KNA1 that store the vendor information. For what purpose it is used? To store the vendor information. Okay, so see, LIFNR vendor SAP table field info and attribute. So it is common that is going to store your vendor information. But again, I want to suppose no one is QUNNR. So what is this QUNNR? Okay, let us put it here. Okay, along with you also, I am also trying to get few details here. QUNNR. Okay, let us see what it do. QUNNR is a standard field within SAP table which store the customer information. See, then you don't have to do anything. You have to directly use this kind of information. Okay, so in examination, in ABAP module certification examination, they are going at this level. Okay, so intention to show you all these details is only this: you should learn or you should go at this level. Okay, so in simple way, remember, elements are used to describe the table fields. How many fields are there in that table? Okay, suppose I'm saying it's a student table, then what it contains exactly? What information? It contains roll number, mobile number, name, or maybe the email ID of the student. So that detail, if I want to know from outside, I will just put which what I will use. I will use this data element. Okay, so we have been seen LIFNR. It is used for vendor information. QUNNR is used for your customer information to represent. And then let us see what is this MATNR. Okay, I'll just put it here, MATNR. Okay, let us check it. What is this MATNR? Even others are there. See, MATNR is again a standard field within a SAP table. Okay, Mara that stores material information. To store the material, they are using this particular standard field, that is Mara MATNR. Okay, so material information is stored in this table. Okay, right now I'm not going in depth about those tables, but let us understand this is used, this particular data element is used that to represent that information. And let us finish the last one also, that is our CLNT. Okay, CLNT. See, data type in SAP. What is this CLNT? So it is a client value. To represent the client value, you are going to use this particular data type or your data element there. Okay, so these are the different data predefined data elements are available. So remember, LIFNR is for your vendor information, KUNNR is for your customer information, MATNR it is for material information, and CLNT is used as a data type, okay, which gives us the client value. Remember, again, I'm just repeating for all of you, you can repeat along with me. LIFNR to get the vendor information, QNNR, again it is a standard field available in your SAP to get the customer information or to understand the customer information, then MATNR material information, and CLNT as a client value. Okay, so these are the different elements in that. Even other elements we can define. Then along with your data elements in your ABAP data dictionary, there are the system fields. So what exactly the system field? See, all the system data is stored in the system table named as SYST. So it is very important. All of you please understand. SYST is a system. So here, as a user, as a programmer, you are having the limited access. Okay, but because they are used by your system most of the time. It is just like when I'm using this operating system. Suppose on my laptop right now, there is a Windows operating system. Then it's very important that whatever the operations related to that Windows operating system, they are carried out by that system itself. Okay, I'm not interfering. I cannot interfere in the execution of that Windows, but I can use that Windows as a system software to run my own application. Right now I'm executing this PowerPoint, suppose. So PowerPoint is an application, I'm running on it. I can do anything with the PowerPoint. I can create, modify, delete my presentation, anything, but I cannot do the same thing with my system or operating system here. Okay, so it is that point. So we can, this particular table, SYST table, is available to give the information about your system data. But when I'm using this SYST table, see that it contains few tables like your SY hyphen datum. It is used to get your system date. Then SY hyphen LANGU, that is system language. SY hyphen SUBRC to do the system check, and SY underscore UZEIT to get the system time. See, last time we have been seen one example, one program where we were able to extract the date of that system, okay, with the help of such kind of your table or with the help of your variable. So system fields are, okay, you have to use very carefully, and most of the time system restricts itself, okay, to the programmer to use them. But these are the certain fields which you can use and you can get the information about them. Okay, so this SYST. Similarly, I would like to show you, suppose I want to get all the transaction codes. Okay, last time I discussed with all of you, but let me put once again, transaction codes, okay, in SAP. Okay, transaction code table. Okay, let us make it very clear. Table in SAP. Okay, so you will get that transaction table available. Okay, that table name is what? See that TSTC. Which table? See, all transaction codes are stored in two SAP tables. One is TSTC, that is, this table stores your transaction code and other technical information like your program name, stream number. But one more table is that there is, that is your TSTCT. What it is? See, this table includes your transaction codes and their description in all languages. These are the two different tables are there. Okay, so you can get the information of your various transaction codes through this table. So please remember, this is again we can say as like your system field or system table there. Okay, so remember, right now we are discussing about ABP data dictionary. At the top in that dictionary, okay, it is independent surface available for your entire database in your ABAP. Then it contains the structure. Inside the structure there are the various your data elements are available, as well as your various tables are available. When I'm saying data elements are used to describe your fields of the tables. But when I'm saying a table is a collection of what? Various rows and columns, and to describe them there are various data elements are also used in your data dictionary. Then when I'm going to handle any table in my ABAP data dictionary, then I have to take the help of what? Various data types there. Okay. And along with that, even I must know certain system fields. Okay, getting this one. So we came up to this point as a part of our discussion. Okay, now I'm going to take you on our that Java tutorial point to just have the fast recap of whatever we have been discussed so far. Are you getting me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm moving further as a part of your SAP ABAP data dictionary. Okay, when I'm talking about this SAP ABAP data dictionary or data dictionary, okay, I already said, okay, it is your DDIC. Okay, DDIC, it is for your data dictionary. See, this is a short form for your data dictionary. Okay, I'll just increase the or zoom it so everyone will be able to see. See, I'm thankful to this Java tutorial point or as well as even tutorial points there. Okay, see, it is most important tool that we have been already said, and it is a part of your ABAP workbench. Please remember, last time also we discussed on the ABAP workbench, and this ABAP dictionary is a part of that ABAP workbench. For what purpose it is used? Now you got it. It is used to do what? Data manipulating and data pre-processing, or sometime it is they are saying to manage the metadata, means data about data. Okay, so of various tables, their information, various data elements, their information, system field, their information is available in your data dictionary. So when I'm saying it is data dictionary, here also we can create our own user defined types like your data elements, structures, table type. Now you got this. Okay, then your this is what your data dictionary is a central storage area. Okay, where it is a repository of all the objects related to the databases. Okay, their descriptions are available. Then the data within this DDIC is integrated, consistent, and secured. See, SAP has given this particular feature with your data dictionary, where data is integrated properly, it is consistent as well as in a secured way. Okay, see, when I'm saying integrated, then there are the interlinkings are available properly. When I say consistent, it means when I'm updating a particular field in one of the table, then related to that table, whatever the sub tables or other tables are linked, they are also get updated immediately. So every data is consistent. It is just like, suppose I'm withdrawing a certain amount from my ATM, okay, with the help of my ATM card. Okay, then once my amount is withdrawn, immediately what should happen? Okay, see that we are receiving an SMS from your that particular bank, then same mess again, it shows that the particular amount is deducted, then you are again getting immediately the balance information and other. So what it is simply a consistency is maintained everywhere, that update in that transaction is made immediately and secured. We know that the meaning of the secured. Okay, so it's always a secured channel to have all these things. See that your as a view of the SQL, your ABAP dictionary, what it do? It actually do the handling of your DDL, that is data definition language, okay, which contains the various commands. Just like I have been shown on your that W3 schools, okay, we were using various clauses like create table, then they have been given drop table, alter table, means execution of your that ABAP data dictionary. We can do with the help of this data definition language, or we can do with the help of these kind of commands. Okay, see, then tables and views are available as a part of your data dictionary. See, the if you get an idea, you will get a point here with this ABAP data dictionary, how it looks. See, ABAP data dictionary is at the central place, and it is accessible as well as it is interconnected to your various ABAP workbench development environment. Okay, it is connected to that development environment as well as with your runtime environment, means in a real time also it is connected. So when I'm saying at a development environment, you can use it with the ABAP tools, then data modelers, with your screen painters, with your menus and all. See that at the runtime environment, it connect with your ABAP interpreter, your dialog control interfaces, screen interpreters. What your this runtime environment is doing, actually it pull ups that data, it uses that data, and from the development environment we create that front end kind of thing. Okay, see, this is the point. So it's very important, they have been given one point. If you want to modify a database table, then change the table definition in your DDIC, means in your where data dictionary. But when you change it in data dictionary, see what they say, do not change the table or anything in at the RDBMS level, else it can produce an application layer as DDIC definition can't update itself. So I think you got a point. It means if you want to modify anything in your particular applications database, where you need to modify, it in your ABAP data dictionary, and that reflection will happen everywhere. You don't worry how it is happening at the table, and that RDB means at the lowest level. Okay, don't worry. So this is just a theory content that we have been seen about your ABAP data dictionary. So when you are going to use this application, or when you are going to use this ABAP data dictionary in your SAP logon or in your SAP system, how you can start with it, or how you can begin with it. See that how to begin the data ABAP dictionary initial screen, or how you will go to that ABAP data dictionary, where you are going to modify your data, where you are going to create the tables, where you are going to put the data inside that table, you are going to modify, update them. Okay, so where you will do this. See, for this purpose you are going to follow this path, all of you. SAP Easy Access, Tools, ABAP Workbench. Under that ABAP Workbench, inside the development, you will be able to find your ABAP dictionary. See, here it is highlighted with this color, where it is in SAP Easy Access. Inside your SAP menu, you will find ABAP, and inside the tools, ABAP Workbench. Then inside the development, you will find SAP 11, that is your for what is that transaction code SE11 to open for what? Your ABAP dictionary. To open the ABAP dictionary, which transaction code is available? SE11. To open it, SE11, please remember. Okay, so just I am repeating, SAP Easy Access, then go to the tools. Inside the tool, select the ABAP Workbench. Inside the ABAP Workbench, select the development, and then click on ABAP dictionary. Okay, so you will get your entry to your ABAP dictionary. Or the simple way, or very shortcut way, is what? Just enter in the command field your transaction code as SE11, and immediately you will find the screen, initial screen of your ABAP dictionary, data dictionary is open for you. See, when you will get this ABAP data dictionary open now, you will be able to see the options like this, which are shown here. Okay, just are you able to see? Please confirm me. Anyone, just please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. See, in this one, you will be able to see that whatever I have been discussed so far. Okay, I have been said various elements or various things, like here, see that database table, view, data type, type group, domain, search help, lock object. These are the components of your SAP ABAP dictionary. See, you may get a question in examination. See, options are given like this in SAP data dictionary. Which are the following component or options are available? Then options may be given like this: database table, view, data type, type group. Something different is given. Then you have to select accurate one. The question may be multi-select. See, I'm not saying multi-choice. In multi-choice, you have to select only one option which is correct. But in multi-select type of questionnaire in your certification exam, you have to select only accurate options. So it is very tricky. Suppose you have been selected database table, view, data type, but you forgot to select type group. And there is again okay, these are the options which you are supposed to select, but you selected only 3 out of 4. You are not getting a single mark for this selection. You may say, sir, they must give us the partial mark. They never give the partial mark. Okay, so you, in this way, you will open your ABAP dictionary. See that if you observe carefully, here the options are given. So initially you start. Okay, please take this scene, everyone, in front of all of you. Whenever you implement any application, okay, forget about right now SAP ABAP for a minute. It may be for any software. What you do first, see, understand how the entries are there. It is just like, so first you think for your front end, means what will be the fields will be there. Okay, once you decided the front end, then you are going to connect that front end with your database. But when it comes to the database now, what you need first? You need your database. So then what is in database? First you have to create that database. Then to create and identify the database, you have to give the name to that database. Once the name is given, then you have to decide what will be inside the database, how the data will be stored inside the database. Then you have to define the table. Then that table name must be given, and then that table will be interlinked with your that front end. Okay, so it is just like, suppose I want to enter into the house. Okay, suppose I went to the holidays and I came back and I want to enter into my house. Definitely my house is locked. So what I need to do first? Will I get directly entry into my house living hall? No, I have to first of all open the door. Okay, understand, open the door, but to open that door I must know the key of my door. But suppose I'm having a key, and instead of me, suppose I'm opening my neighbor's house which is also locked, will it get open? No. So it means I have to find out exact database, exact that particular identity which will show me yes, this is only your correct database. Then suppose I come to my house, I put the key, then my door is get open. Then through that door I will enter into my particular the compartment or part of my house. Please understand, it means to enter into the particular part of the house or compartment of the house is what? A kind of what? Table. So my living table is different, kitchen table is different, like this. So to go there now I need a certain entry point. So here in ABAP data dictionary these entry points are prepared or available. Okay, see that when I'm saying it is a ABAP data dictionary, these many things are connected to it. Okay, we have been just discussed data types, database tables, views, type groups, lock objects, search helps, and domain. Currently, I have been made you available or familiar with data types and database tables. Okay, later on we'll get an idea about the remaining part too. Okay, see then when I'm saying these are the your repositories, then there are two types of collections in this repository. One is your basic repository and second is aggregated. So right now we are talking about only the basic repositories where your application or objects can be created and used, like these tables, structures, data elements, and domains. And second type is that where you are creating an aggregated objects like views, then search help and lock object. Okay, so here the description, let us see the database table. I already said about the database tables, but one point I want to highlight here, see that the tables which we create as a programmer in ABAP module, they must be named or their name must be start with these two characters. The custom table means which you can modify, where you can play with them. Okay, they are always, their name must be started with the letter Z or Y, and its length up to 16 character. I can give that table name up to the 16 character, like this I can say student, like this I can extend that name up to the 16 character. Okay, see then one more point is there, these tables are independent of the underlying database. Okay, they are independent, we are creating initial them independent. And in that case I have been already talked about these three types of the table: transparent, pooled, and cluster. Okay, then view is what? See that view option is very similar to your database table, but what it contains? It contains only table structure but not any data. Okay, so it is like a virtual table that physically not contain any type of data, it is just a table. Okay, table, but it is just a structure. Okay, it means no one, not a single entity or data is available. It is just like I'm saying. Okay, uh, just an house. Okay, a 3D house, or I can say virtual house. You might be seeing the 3D plans for the home. Then in that, whether anyone can live, no, but it is representing your house. Okay, so your view is that kind of concept. It just gives me a structure, a layout, or the table structure, but it doesn't save anything there. Okay, then your data types. So we have been discussed, there are the user defined data types as well as your all these data types like data element, structure, and tables. Then type group. What is the type group? It is used to define the group of different data types that you are going to use in our program. Okay, so different data types, suppose I'm using integer, I'll represent it with the help of type. If I'm using character, again I can represent it with the help of type there. Okay, then your domain is what? See, domain is used to represent your technical attributes of a field. Okay, suppose I'm saying that field is a roll number, then what is the technical attribute of that roll number? For roll number I may say it is its data type is integer, its length is, maybe I'm saying 3 digits. So these are becoming its technical attribute. So when you are going to represent the technical attribute of each field in your table, we can make use of this domain. Okay, which represents your data type field. And what the search help is doing, which is useful to create the help document for the user. See, it can be used everywhere, it can be created everywhere to provide the help to the user, so that user will understand what kind of information is to be filled over there. Okay, now see, this is point I want to highlight with all of you. Okay, search help, or it is also like a tooltip text. Have you heard about this word tooltip text anytime? Tooltip text. Okay, I'll type it here. Okay, it is known as what? Tooltip text, like tooltip text. Okay, okay, tooltip text. Now what exactly it is tooltip text? See, it is just like, now if uh, here itself, all of you observe carefully, on my screen itself right now, I'm going to show you the tooltip text at the pointer of my mouse. Okay, which that feature is already implemented on all the web pages or by on even Windows or every operating system. See that I'm highlighting this. Are you getting that particular text over there? Just say yes or no when I'm going for that tab.
Yes, sir.
See, this is like a search help. So when I'm getting an idea, before clicking or without clicking, I'm getting, okay, for what purpose this tab is opened by me here. Okay, so this is a point, please understand. So you can also create using this search help, the help for each field which you have been created on your that front end. Suppose field is name. So if I'm just moving the or pressing F4, I will get an idea. Okay, this field is used to enter the name of the person or name of the user. Then lock object. See that since SAP does not allow the access of multiple users simultaneously, but see that to synchronize the access of multiple users, we can use this lock object. Okay, and it can be used with the different lock objects like read, write, and enhance the lock object. Okay, see, it is very important. See, this is just like you might be heard in your Linux also, there are the certain permissions, access permissions like read, write, execute. Okay, RWX. So similar kind of that, when the different users are working together, then if I am reading the object, then you cannot write. See, write means what? Modify. Okay, when I'm reading the object, you cannot modify it, and when I'm modifying it, you cannot read that object. See, at a time only one thing will happen. See, just it is right now I have been open only this tab, but if I want to open the another tab, until and unless I'm not clicking on that tab will not be opened. Okay, this is the meaning. See, understand, means at a time only one thing is going to be happen, not all the things start simultaneously. Okay, so they are going to lock the object. It is just like okay, you all are using WhatsApp. So on WhatsApp also, when you are putting the message to one user, okay, or one your friend, you cannot put that message at the same time to the other friend. You can send it, you can forward it, but that should be forwarded from your same window, then only it goes to the another window. Understand it? So at a time, though you are interacting with your friends on a WhatsApp group now, all may type the message, but it will be delivered by certain time only, and you will be on that particular group. Suppose you are on SAP ABAP group, you cannot immediately change yourself. Okay, suppose you are doing something in that, while doing something you cannot change your group. So you have to stop doing that, and then you have to change your group. Okay, so locking is provided here. We'll go for more information, but now whatever we have been discussed here today, I want to show you some online quiz for that. Okay, see that I'm preferably preferring this your tutorials point. Okay, I'll just copy this, and for your help I'll put in a chat this particular point. Okay, here. Okay, yeah, why it is not copied? I think so. Okay, no issue. And one more request, I'm observing that students, okay, number of time it is observed, very less students are joining it. See, I'm trying to give the details, I'm trying to simplify your this SAP ABAP. My intention is only to simplify it, not to do anything else with it. Okay, because when you will start now, no one will go in that much depth. They will see that here itself the lot of details are separately given. Okay, you can go through them, you can find out the details. Okay, it is hanged. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, just wait for a minute. Yes, it is opening. My laptop may be hanged, just wait. Yeah. Okay, it is saying that okay, when I'll click on end process now, please see that now you should not be or that Zoom maybe get disconnected. Just a minute.